Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to our series called Do It With Passion. My name is Alexa Diaz Formidoni. I am the Senior Director of Capstone Programs, and we have very special guests today. One of them is actually my colleague at Junior Achievement. She's our Finance Park Manager, and her name is Lauren Henderson, and we're so excited to have her. And the reason why we have her is because today is a very special edition of our show. We actually have somebody who we respect and admire so much because she is a teacher. Welcome, Ms. Osadczuk. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I know that in the midst of your crazy days, we just want to thank you, for making the time to be here, because it's so important for us to be able to highlight you. I mean, so many of us are listening and hearing to all of these changes we have been having to adapt to. I can't even imagine, the changes you have been part of. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience? Like these last, I can't even believe it. It's been 7 weeks.
I know.
The beginning of the 7th. When we first started this whole situation, I remember just being at a point where we thought we were packing up for 2 weeks, and
yes. Going on spring break, we were coming back, finishing the fourth quarter. There's so many things to do in the fourth quarter, and then we hit this roadblock. So it's been quite a challenge. We've been building our online courses, which takes so much time and effort and so much research, but it's what we have to do. And so we've built these online courses. Some of these things are working for the students, some of them aren't. And it's just a lot of trial and error, and you just have to keep going. I've gotten a lot of parents and a lot of students who are really excited to continue education. And so that has been a bright spot. They've been trying as hard as they can. And I see so many of them pushing themselves to try to do more and get their assignments in. And I'm a mother of a first grader too. So I'm not only teaching online all day, but I'm also, trying to teach first grade. So it has been a really big challenge, but best thing about it is that I get to be home with my daughter. So.
Oh my gosh. And you are actually from an 8th grade teacher from Ramblewood Middle School. And
Yes.
This is a school that comes and visits us to JA Finance Park and has been coming for this is our 11th year. Miss Lauren runs our Finance Park program. And so we would love to hear some questions. We're going to have a conversation, and we're just, again, so happy that you're here so that we can appreciate you and you know how much we value you.
Thank you.
All right, so I guess I'll take over. So Mrs. O, I'm going to call you Mrs. O just because I know that's what your students call you.
Call me.
So how long have you been a teacher?
I have been a teacher for 16 years. I've been at Ramblewood Middle School this will be my 5th year coming up next year, so ending my 4th year. I taught high school for most of my career, and then I just decided I wanted to change. Ramblewood Middle School was a great school. My husband had gone there. It was close to my home. So I had taken a shot and applied after I had my daughter. And I went to 8th grade. I had always loved teaching 9th grade, just because there's something about those younger students when they get that spark and that love of education. And once they're already seniors, sometimes you kind of miss that. So I really like getting them young. And 8th grade has been really, really fun. And there aren't many teachers who would say that, I don't think, but 8th grade is really the greatest. And I really love my school.
Wow. I was going to say, one of the reasons I love running the Finance Park program is because I see so many students come through, and, I see that, I don't get the one-on-one that you get with your students, but I get to see the joy that 8th graders have for learning, and it's awesome. I can only imagine what you get to see as you get to see them through the whole school year. So
it must be why Junior Achievement kind of takes them in 8th grade, because I think that's like that fulcrum year where they really start to become adults and start to be able to make those big decisions and at least think about them in a different way.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you get to have real conversations with 8th graders. They know a lot more than a lot of people think they do.
They do. They're very smart. They're whole people, and that's one thing people often don't think about when you look at kids, that they are whole people with whole minds and whole ideas, and you just have to let that grow.
Yeah. And it is interesting. We've been we just had a meeting earlier, and we were trying to discuss, the different ways, because it's such an impactful experience when they go through BizTown in 5th grade, and in 8th grade they go through Finance Park. And then, one of our staff members was sharing that, students are like, I just want to hear more about it in high school. So obviously our CEO is running like a chicken without a head, trying to figure out different ways. And this has always been kind of our goal too, to try to see, what is the best way, because we do have high school programs. They're just not mandated like the.
I know, but they're great programs. The Inspire program, even, it's something that I've been looking into that I would like to bring, to my school. But it's interesting when you see these kids, because when they go into these programs, a lot of times they get so excited after 5th grade and they're so excited to go to Finance Park. And what they bring out of it is like this maturity. And so where they went to 5th grade and they got so excited to take on a role, when they come to 8th grade, they like feel the weight of these financial decisions. And maybe more Americans should feel that weight early on, it'll help you to prepare for the future. So I think it's great,
Yeah, I love talking to students at the end of the day. I love to hear what they took out of the experience. And I think one of the funniest things I've ever heard was a student mention that he didn't realize that water didn't come with the house. Just something as simple as paying for your water bill. And he had no idea. And it's true, they're students, they don't pay for the things that adults have to pay for. And just having that realization of, wow, this is what it's like to actually be an adult. And I think it takes a lot of, it takes a lot in their brains to start realizing, okay, now I understand why I can't have certain things, or, I understand what my guardians go through, which is so, impactful for them.
Yes. Well, and to me, I always think about my own experience when I was growing up. And I grew up in Florida, in Hillsborough County, and I didn't go to JA. And then I remember going to college and applying for financial aid and thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much you have to do. And I have no idea what to do. And so when I take my kids to JA, I really hold that experience in my mind, and hoping that when they come out of it, they feel almost more motivated and more empowered to make these decisions. The state of Florida has been pushing financial literacy. It's become a huge requirement in education now. And so your programs help us to achieve that. So it's something that, would be really great to partner with, even more so in Florida and Broward County or whatever level, just to bring that financial literacy skills to them. Because like I said, it's that motivation to want to do better. And once you realize that money can, or not even just money, just being able to handle your finances, whether you're rich or poor, being able to handle it and make good decisions so you don't feel so stressed out about it, can give you a good life. Those are the decisions right now that are really weighing on a lot of these kids and families right now. So
yeah. And as you were talking about that, it made me want to ask you this question. I always call these moments aha moments with the students. It's where they have this one moment, either during the program while they're visiting, during the simulation, or while you're teaching the program, or a lot of teachers mention that the day after the program, when they actually have a chance to talk to the students, there's, some, students will mention an aha moment where they really, it settled in to their, to them, and they realized, what it's really like to be an adult. I just wanted to know, with your students specifically, did you have any aha moments you want to talk about?
I remember one year in particular, I had gone to Finance Park, and one student had an income so low, the child was having such a hard time completing the simulation. And we had like 3 volunteers and you and myself, and we were all sitting there trying to help this child. And when he realized he couldn't get anything, he's got a bus pass, he has no car, the look on this child's face. And then the next day in class, them talking about it, he's like, that's never going to happen to me. It's never going to happen to me. I'm never going to have that, And it was like this moment where he realized that I can't drop the ball, because if I do, this is where I'm going to be. And just the struggle he had at Finance Park, to imagine having that struggle with children and with family, you know, was too much for him. And so I think, like, we saved one, you know, and it was a really great moment. And I'll never forget that kid, you know. And we've been bringing our special education students with us for the last couple of years too. And I'll tell you, the joy and happiness it brings to these kids to be included and to, like, be able to do these things, to realize, oh, I can have a career, I can do this, has really been a great thing. And I encourage you more and more and more to pass this on to as many students as possible with any level, because, you know, it really just helps them gain a perspective on where they need to go and how they're going to get there, you know?
Wow. I have chills.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
It has been one of my greatest joys, is bringing those students. And I bring, you know, their support facilitator, and I tell you, it's one of the best days that we all have all year. So
Wow. Thank you.
You're making me teary-eyed.
I know. I was tearing up a little bit when you were talking, trying to keep it together.
this is my life now.
Wow.
It's a good life. Being a teacher is hard. But it's something that you do when it comes from within. It's, you know, we don't get paid a lot. We don't get respected as much as we should in a lot of ways. And we deal with children all day, which, as a lot of parents are finding out now, that's really hard.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you do it with love and you do it for the right reason, it just kind of comes out of you. And the kids respond, and, you know, it works.
I was going to say, it takes you back to do it with passion.
It takes a village, and I'm part of that. Yep.
Volunteers, everyone who works with students, that I always say you have to do it with passion, and you'll get through to them, which is why we do what we do.
And if you're not getting through to them, that might be one of the reasons why.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's interesting when we think about, you know, what we remember when we're young. It's these experiences that we remember. There's so much that's taught to us, and to be able to hear people after going through the program, many, many years after, remembering who they were, what they did, what kind of decisions they made. It's inspiring, and we want to try to focus our next year's goal is all about customer service to teachers. Like, we want to make sure that you know how much we value what you do. And, you know, I think life couldn't have put us all in a more dynamic situation where we actually are being forced to truly understand your perspectives, because, like you mentioned, not many of us have ever really been. And so I think, and hopefully as we look into the future, this might change the pay that you get. This might change a lot of, and it starts conversations, which are so important, because what you do will build and will basically nourish every single person that you touch. And we could not thank you more for your hard work. You can tell that, you know, the what you feel, the Kool-Aid, you've drank the Kool-Aid. You are one of those teachers who we need in this world. You are one of those people who, when I look back and I remember my favorite teachers, it's not 10, you know, it's 2 or 3. And the fact that you can be that for those students, we just want to thank you for coming on. And we just want to let you know that we're going to celebrate you, that we are definitely focused on next year, making sure that you're getting everything you need from us, so that we can have an incredible partnership, so that this is something that we can keep on building together. And just remember, we could never do anything that we're doing without you all. So I really appreciate your time, Lauren. Lauren's amazing, you know, at running her show and running her program. It takes so much. For those of you who haven't heard about our programs, Finance Park We bring in 8th graders so that they understand about their budgets, they understand about career pathways. And so teachers like Miss O actually go ahead and train these students before they come to our facility to a mini city where they're going to be making these budgetary decisions, where it's crucial for them to be able to have this knowledge gained in school so that they can jump in on a simulation day that's been provided for them in a place that they can't even believe they're in, because it's a really cool facility, thankfully, and we're so proud of it. But none of this would ever happen if it wasn't for teachers. And so we want to let you know that we're fully committed and that we admire you and appreciate you and look forward to everything we can do together in the future.
Yeah,
Thank you.
O, I always say this, but I truly could not do my job if it was not for teachers like you. So thank you. So
well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of Financial Park and be part of Junior Achievement. It's the best program. I love it.
I hope that I'm sure you have a busy day, so we won't take up more of your time, but thank you
office
again.
Hours.
I know there's probably so many students trying to reach out to you. So thank you again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. And happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Woohoo!
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you.